Do you have a regular postman? You might not see him anymore 2 years down the road. The European Commission has proposed a total opening up of the estimated €90 billion per year postal market by January the 1st, 2009. The sector employs some 5 million people across Europe. It's the first hot dossier promised for 2007. France, Italy and Spain are among the leading opponents. But Finland, Sweden and the UK have already introduced full competition, and they're in favour. So is Germany. Soon the traditional operator's monopoly on delivering letters under 50 grams will go. No more national protection. France is bracing for a shock. Notions of public service there cover more than just the letterbox, insists this postman.
You know, in this neighbourhood, I've been here for 18 years, so being with the people for all those days, you know them. You know little personal things about their work, their kids.
Others claim they share a similar service ideal, but they see it differently. For the Dutch postal service TNT, the billions of letters, cards and parcels that pass through its centres each year are above all a market flow. Already deployed in several countries, TNT hopes to conquer more territory. Our public affairs director at the company is satisfied it's one of the best mobilised for competition in Europe.
15 years ago, TNT Post, that was called PTT Post then, was privatized, and it's now 100% in private hands. So there has been a long history of adjusting to a new situation. We are completely separated from the government, so there was always pressure on us to perform well and to adjust ourselves to the market, which has been liberalized for already a long time.
Liberalising the post goes back to 1989. Several directives later, today 60% of postal services are open to competition. Mail to companies, most parcels, advertising flyers and catalogues. These lucrative items are more and more out of reach to traditional post. But the official guiding the latest proposal in the matter through the European Parliament says there's still a long way to go.
Why is this necessary? I think we have to give up the idea that a state monopoly alone is capable of satisfying the whole market. Postal services can be broken up into a broad range of products. A lot of these are not available because the market doesn't work. We have problems with quality, notably in crossing borders. A letter sent on holiday takes much too much time getting to its family. These arguments support a total liberalisation of the market.
The goal is more or less accepted, but the speed of doing it is worrisome to some, notably in the new EU members, where adjusting to earlier stages has been difficult, as a Polish MEP explains.
It's a question of productivity. To deal with a piece of mail in Poland takes 15 minutes. In Netherlands, it's 1 minute and 40 seconds. The Dutch post is 11 times more productive, therefore, than the Polish post. Ours performs a quarter as well as Germany's and half as well as the European average.
The prospect of changes doesn't only worry the Eastern European countries. The older members are also considering the effect on customers and delivery personnel. A worker in Belgium fears the worst.
They aren't telling us what's going to happen. We don't know if post offices will close in the long term. The lower costs means staff are going to feel it.
What European Parliament supporters of a prudent liberalisation don't want is for the traditional operators to lose the most lucrative markets, which allow them to fund all-round service, including the costly practice of delivering mail at least 5 times a week.
The historic operator would be obliged to give universal public service everywhere, even in rural zones, at very high costs, and would therefore be less and less competitive against newcomers. So who's going to pay? How are we going to keep universal service?
Comment est-ce qu'on tiendra alors ce service universel?
The European Commission, usually against state aid, is open to governments subsidizing this. But the traditional service providers are wary of this option as unreliable in the long term, since states are always under budget pressures. This is the opinion of a French National Post external relations official.
We don't think state aid is the best way to go about it. On the contrary, it's the newcomers, which is to say our competitors, who should participate in financing universal service. There should be mechanisms which don't impede entry or competition, but which do provide for this.
This balancing out fund concept is not private companies' cup of tea. Neither are they that interested in delivering the mail every day up mountains or to little islands, for instance. Even in big cities, classic mail is losing ground, mostly to electronic mail, squeezing profit margins. Proof of postal sensitivity lies in the General Services Liberalisation Directive. It doesn't include opening up the post. The Parliament's European People's Party Conservatives and the Socialist Group collaborated closely in this, yet it wasn't to this Liberals' liking.
I hope that there is not going to be a consensus between PPE and Socialists. But I do hope that Mr. Ferber, the rapporteur, who is the PPE member, is going to be as brilliant as he was before on the postal directives and regulations and reports, and that he will stick to his own point of view, and this is more or less similar to the Liberal point of view.
She may be disappointed. There's a lot at stake to risk an ideological clash with governments in the Council. France and its allies can wield a minority blocking vote. A compromise is expected to be elusive. The Parliament's rapporteur in the business says the broader an alliance, the faster a result.
Being able to rely on a large majority in the European Parliament is useful to the postal sector, because this is an area where co-decision applies. Parliament can modify a common position reached in the Council only if it musters a qualified majority. In general, that can be managed when the two big Parliament groups work together.
The quest for consensus between EPP and Socialists shouldn't be as hard with a centre-left and centre-right coalition in power in Germany. Those government partners both want the post liberalised. Berlin is putting its energy into getting an accord in June as it wraps up its presidency of the Council.